Jethro, tell us exactly what happened with Miss Drysdale.
Well, I come around the side of the house, and I see this here lady fighting with a furry-looking varmint.
Turned out it was Miss Drysdale.
No, Uncle Jed. It was a fox.
The lady was Miss Drysdale.
Oh, yeah. So I grabs up the shotgun, and I says, "Step aside, lady, and I'll shoot it." Well, instead of that, she whipped around and threw that thing in the air. Well, I shot it on the fly with both barrels.
Blew my wife's fox fur to shreds.
I wonder if she fainted dead away.
I caught her just in time. The chauffeur had to help me get her into the car. She was out like a light.
She was stewed to the gills. You said it took 2 men to get her back in the car.
You know, Jethro, could be that there fox was Miss Drysdale's pet.
Why in tarnation would she want a sneaky old fox for a pet?
'Cause them kind of people are liable to do anything.
What kind of people?
Ask your pa.
Well, I reckon I can't protect you from the ugly side of life forever. You see, Miss Drysdale was what city folks calls what was her husband called, Granny?
Hypochondriac.
Yeah, that means she drinks a little.
A little. Her own husband said her bedroom was full of bottles.
The doctor says she'll sleep for several hours. He gave her a sedative.
What about Claude?
Oh, she insisted that he have a sedative, too. Poor dog, he's probably the first canine hypochondriac.
Let's be thankful for one thing, Mr. Drysdale.
What's that?
The tree outside the window. It completely obscures her view of the Clampett estate.
Yes. And if that tree should ever lose its leaves and she gets one look at those hillbillies...
It shall not happen. The Clampetts have agreed to accompany me to Palm Springs.
Fine, fine. Now, you keep them there until I get Margaret back to Boston.
Can do and will do.
Maybe it's for the best that you know about that poor woman next door, Ellie. I can fit you in and help us get her cured.
Yep. I'll need you to help find the makings from a sobering up mash. That's what I'll give her first.
But Miss Jane said she was taking us to Palm Springs.
Folks don't run off and leave the neighbors when they's in trouble. What all you gonna need for your sobering up mash, Granny?
Well, most of the stuff I got. But it takes a coon root, wretchweed, sourdough, skunk oil, chimney soot, spider webs, horse mint, snake wort, pepper leaves, chicken gizzards, stump water, coal oil, slippery elm ooze, and turpentine. And a few more things that's secret. Oh, and the biggest toad you can find.
Granny, you use a live toad?
That's just for testing. I give it a swaller to see how far it jumps.
Last time Granny used the sobering up mash set a new record. Clean over the top of Elverny Bradshaw's clothesline.
That's tall jumping for a toad.
Oh, this wasn't no toad. This was Elverny's husband, Homer. It was him Granny was sobering up. Well, if you're going out in the brush hunting stuff for Granny, you'd best put on some old clothes.
Okay, Pop.
Well, let's get it going. Oh, I pert near forgot. I have to have some goat's milk. After Mrs. Drysdale takes my sobering up mash, she has to have fresh goat's milk every half hour to stop the burning.
Well, I reckon Jethro can borrow some. Well-to-do neighborhood like this, folks is bound to keep goats.
Everybody except us. We ain't even got a cow.
Nor pigs neither.
Nor chickens.
We ain't even got nothing to pull a plow.
You're supposed to be so dad blame rich. I'll bet we're the only family in Beverly Hills that ain't got a mule.
I reckon it is high time I was stocking this place. Even Mr. Drysdale's been after me to buy some cattle.
Well, good for him.
Yeah, just the other day he says to me, Mr. Clampett, you got $25 million in cash. You ought to put some of that money into stock.
Well, we better get busy now if we're going to find...
There goes that music again. Jethro, did you ever find out where that's coming from?
No, sir, I didn't. Every time I went to looking for it, somebody always come to the door. This time I'm gonna find it for sure.
Yeah, good hunting. Me and Granny will be figuring out what stock to buy.
Doggone it, never failed. Howdy, Miss Hathaway.
Oh, please stop calling me Miss Hathaway. Now, if I can call you by your first name, Jethro, surely you can do the same for me.
But,
Please?
well, howdy, Miss Jethro.
How about calling me Jane?
I like that better.
Well, are we all set to leave for Palm Springs?
No, ma'am. Uncle Jed and me's going to town and buy some stock.
Stock?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Drysdale, he told Uncle Jed he had ought to put some of his money into stock.
He dictated a memo on that. But you needn't waste time driving into town. You can order your stock by telephone. Now, here are Mr. Drysdale's recommendations. He doesn't want your Uncle Jed to get a bum steer.
Oh, Uncle Jed, he wouldn't buy no bum steer.
He should be cautious in the bull market.
You got to be careful with cows, too.
Jethro, you have the most delightfully bucolic sense of humor. Now then, would you like to ride to Palm Springs with me, or would you prefer to drive and meet me there? Jethro,
Oh, yes, ma'am.
would you like to drive your own car?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I like to drive.
Very well. I have typed out explicit directions. I've even drawn a map showing the exact location of the hotel. They have a lovely pool, and... Jethro,
Oh, yes, ma'am.
I'm taking a bikini to Palm Springs.
Is that faster than a train?
Jethro, you dear naive boy. You shall see when we go swimming. 2,000. Me, Jane.
No, ma'am. I'm Jethro Bodine.
And I almost hate to see you change.
I ain't gonna change.
Oh, yes, you will. Under my tutelage, you will become an educated man of letters. Someday I shall introduce you as Jethro Bodine. B.A., M.A., Ph.D.
Awful smart woman, but that ain't the way you spell Bodine. All I know is this is the kind of stock Mr. Drysdale thinks is good.
What does that say?
IBM.
What's that spell?
IBM.
What's an IBM?
I don't know. Next it's got, S's.
S's?
Well, that's what's wrote there. USS.
That makes sense.
Maybe it ain't Mr. Drysdale's fault. Just between you and me, that Miss Hathaway can't spell for sour grape.
I don't need this list nohow. Me and Granny's already figured out what we want.
That's right. A pair of goats, 3 pigs, 4 cows, a bull, a mule, and a dozen chickens.
Reckon we can get all that on the truck?
Don't have to. Miss Hathaway says just call on the telephone and they bring 'em out.
Oh, now, ain't that nice? Hello?
Jed, I watched that banker feller. You have to stick your finger in them holes and spin her a while.
All right. Reckon that ought to do it?
Operator.
Oh, howdy, ma'am. This here is Jed Clampett. I'd like to buy some stock.
What number do you wish?
Number? Oh, a couple of goats, 3 pigs, 4 cows, a bull, a mule, and a dozen chickens.
I'll give you information.
Well, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate all the information you can give me. It's the first time I ever bought stock on the telephone.
Perhaps I'd better connect you with a supervisor.
2 heads is better than 1.
Supervisor speaking. May I help you?
Well, thank you, ma'am. This here is Jed Clampett. I'd like to buy some stock.
Do you know the number you wish to reach?
Well, that's more or less up to the animals. But the number I want to start with is a couple of goats, 3 pigs, 4 cows, a bull, a mule, and a dozen chickens.
Sure is a dandy pen, Jethro. As soon as Ellie gets back from the Drysdale, she can milk this here goat.
Drysdale sure has got a nice house, ain't he, Granny?
Yep. Nice house, nice car, nice job. But the evil of drink has sure laid a heavy hand on his heart. Never forget, Ellie, drinking is a curse.
You take a drink now and then, Granny.
Never more than a thimbleful. Oh, Ellie, you might have to hold Mrs. Drysdale while I spoon the sobering up mash down her.
I'll throw a double scissors and an arm lock on her.
Just so you don't cut off her wind, so she can't breathe.
Yes?
Howdy. We've come to see Miss Drysdale.
I'm sorry, madam, but Mrs. Drysdale cannot be disturbed.
Are you her kin?
I'm a butler.
Oh, that must have been her maiden name. You're taking care of her, are you?
I am a butler, madam.
Well, I'm glad to see that her family ain't ashamed to help her.
Whom shall I say called?
Well, this here's Granny, and I'm Ellie Mae. Pa and Jethro would have come too, but they're busy with the cattle.
Very good.
Hold on now. We've come to see Miss Drysdale.
Mrs. Drysdale is indisposed, madam. She is not receiving.
Oh, still sleeping it off, huh? Well, when she comes to, you just spoon half of this down her and then stand back.
Yeah, she'll commence to doing some tall jumping.
Don't fight you. We'll be back later with the goat's milk.
Want me to stay and help you do for Miss Drysdale?
We are managing, thank you.
Are you doing the washing and the cleaning and the cooking for her?
Certainly not.
Oh, just letting it pile up on her, huh?
Madam, I am a butler.
Oh. Want me to haul him out of there, Randy, and wrestle him down?
Kin folks have certain rights. Family comes first.
He sure is proud of that family name, ain't he?
Yeah. To hear him talk, the butlers don't get wet when it rains.
Did you say something, dear? Well, speak up, dear. Did you get something? Come in.
I beg your pardon, sir. The butler said some people from the ranch brought this for Madame.
From a ranch?
Well, he said they mentioned cattle. They called themselves Granny and Ellie Mae.
The Clampetts. They haven't gone to Palm Springs.
Jethro, get him in through that gate. That's the way.
Suey! Hey, hey!
Ah! Get in there.
Get in there, Big! Get in, Big! Come on! Get Big!
That's the way.
Suey!
No, surely not. Marie, tell me I'm hearing things.
You're hearing things, sir. Cows, chickens, pigs, goats.
No.
Anything I can do, sir?
Pray, Marie. Pray.
Hold your horses, I'm a-coming. Oh, howdy, Mr. Drysdale. Did your wife see that?
Where's your father?
He's tending the cattle.
He brought cattle into this beautiful estate?
No, he called on the telephone, and some men brought him in a truck. Yes, sir. I'm just fixing to go milk the goats. Come on out to stock pen.
Stock pen.
Yes, sir, Mr. Drysdale. I finally took your advice and put some of my money in stock. How's that goat milk, Ellie?
Just fine, Pa.
As sure as a dandy pen, Mr. Drysdale.
Yeah, good stout fence around outside. Of course, that one across the middle ain't so much. Bull's already jumped it twice and ain't even mating season. Got ourselves some mighty fine-looking stock. Of course, they need a little fattening up.
Mr. Drysdale happy to see him?
Granny, he was so happy he couldn't talk. He just kind of hung on a fence and made little gurgling noises in his throat.
Well, that poor man has some joy coming to him.
I'm glad to be able to help him to forget his trouble for a spell.
Here's the goat's milk, Granny.
Oh, good, Ellie. Now, you run that right over to Mrs. Drysdale. That sobering up mash smarts considerable unless you follow it up with fresh goat's milk.
Ellie, Mr. Drysdale ever find his tongue?
Yeah, Pa. Whilst I was milking the goat, I heard him kind of mumbling, like he was giving thanks. He says, "Oh, what have I done to deserve this?"
Lord love him. Ain't that pitiful? Oh, hurry, child, now hurry.
You know, Granny, it gives a person a mighty good feeling to help a neighbor.
You betcha. And he needs us, because his wife's kin ain't no help.
Who's that?
That high and mighty Mr. Butler. That's who came to the door when Ellie and me took the mash over. Wouldn't let us see Miss Drysdale.
Well, now, you can't hardly blame him for not wanting folks to see it.
Uncle Jed, the bull jumped that little fence again, so I tied him back over on his side.
Where's Mr. Drysdale? I asked him to come in for some coffee.
It was the funniest thing what happened to him. You know how he was hanging on the fence of the stock pen, kind of gurgling and mumbling happy-like?
Yeah.
Well, all of a sudden, he points up towards his house and says, "My wife, that's her window." Then he goes tearing off into the bushes like a bear was after him.
She took some mash and he seen her jumping.
Like Ellie, he's going to get there with the goat's milk just in time.
Oh, Sonny, Sonny, your mumsy just had the most ghastly dream. I was going to see our new neighbors, the Clampetts, and suddenly this dreadful giant appeared with a huge gun and shot my beautiful fox first. Isn't that the most dreadful... Claude, what are you eating? Oh, did Ravenswood bring my darling boy some nice peaches fries? Claude. Claude! Marie, come and get Claude.
What's the matter here?
Claude, he's having a seizure or something.
Something wrong?
Yes, Marie. Open the window.
Yes, let's have some fresh air. No. Take Claude to the doctor. I'll get the window. Well, darling, how do you feel?
Dreadful. My nerves are shattered. Open the window, dear.
Well, it might not be good for you, Margaret.
Oh, don't be silly, Milburn. I need oxygen. Besides, I adore the fragrance of that jasmine that grows on the fence of that tennis court next door. Now, open the window.
All right, dear, but first I have a surprise.
Surprise?
Don't move. I'll be right back.
Granny, that there butler fellow wouldn't let me through that door again. And he wouldn't take this milk, neither.
Why not?
He said he wouldn't touch nothing more from us without it was sterilized.
What's sterilized?
Oh, we had that in school once. That means soaked in alcohol.
Alcohol?
Appears to me like Mr. Drysdale's got two drinkers on his hands.
Mr. Drysdale must be in terrible shape. Fighting me, scratching and clawing people and everything.
How do you know?
I heard her yelling and screaming clean from upstairs. She says, "Marie, come and get Claude." Sure enough, pretty soon, this poor girl come a-running down yelling, "Take me to the doctor. I got Claude."
Family or no family, that woman needs help, and by thunder, she's gonna get it.
Surprise!
Milburn, have you taken leave of your senses? You know I'm much too nervous to watch television.
But, darling, the doctors in Boston said your nerves were just fine.
Those Boston doctors. They had the audacity to tell me that I was perfectly healthy. I said, I'm not paying you all that money to tell me I'm healthy. Milburn, I do not want to watch television.
Well, you don't have to watch it, dear. Just listen. There's an exciting Western on.
Weston, Milburn, shut that off and open the window.
I will. Oh, there we are.
Milburn, are you going to open the window or am I?
I am, dear. There, you see? There's the cattlemen and the sheepmen are fighting it out.
If you won't turn it off, I will.
Oh, dear, I do admit that's a very old plot, but I'm sure we can get something better.
That medical program, go back to that.
Well, don't you think that's a bit depressing?
I want the medical program.
All right. I still hear the cattle and the goats. Yes, you see, this is the latest thing in television program. A medical western. Medical western? Yes, I think it's called Sagebrush Surgeon.
That's the window he pointed to right there.
I've got to get some fresh goat's milk up to that woman some way.
I could shinny up the tree and climb right in that window.
Jethro, it ain't fitting for a man to be in a woman's bedroom.
How about me? No, Ellie. You're too young to handle somebody wrestling in the grip of old John Barleycorn. I gotta get up there and have a goat handy to milk ever so often.
I think I got it figured out, Granny. I'll get a rope, throw it over that limb, hoist you up to the window. Jethro, you get that Mr. Butler away from the front door. Then, Ellie, you take the nanny goat, lead it upstairs to her room for Granny.
All right, Paul. But that little goat ain't gonna do nothing unless it's got that little chicken sitting on his back.
That's all right. Raw egg ain't gonna do Mrs. Drysdale a bit of harm.
Margaret, what are you doing?
Packing. I'm leaving immediately.
Oh, don't leave me. I love you.
I love you too, Milburn. Why don't you come to Boston with me? You haven't seen Sonny for a long time.
I don't understand. Why have you suddenly decided to go back to Boston?
To see those doctors. Let them dare to tell me now I don't have a nervous condition. I'm even having hallucinations. It's wonderful.
Hallucinations?
I just saw a witch fly by that window, and there's a goat in the bathtub with a chicken riding on its back. Oh, you couldn't see them, dear. Only someone with my shattered nervous system. There goes the witch again. Oh, Milburn, I'm the happiest woman in the world. It's marvelous. Wait until those doctors hear this.
Can't get in the attic and she won't open the window. Heist me up again.
Here, Milburn. Let's have a vitamin toast to my coming triumph.
It's too late, Jed.
What do you mean, Granny?
We didn't get to her in time. Now she's got her husband on the stuff.
Why, you the prettiest thing I ain't never in all my born days. How'd an old mountain goat like me ever get a young'un like... You're a queen. That's what you are in that shiny dress standing there. You're a queen.
Feel it, Paul. It's slicker than a toad's belly.
Doggies if it ain't. What kind of dress they call that?
Well, this is what you call a ball gown.
A ball gown. Well, you's even catching on to what they's named.
Well, Miss Hathaway, she pinned a piece of paper onto every dress she got me, telling what it was for.
You better tote along the shotgun and keep fellas away.
Oh, no, Paul. That's what I'm going out for, to meet some fellas.
Hallelujah. You know, you're going to find out something I've been saying is the truth. You don't have to dress up in boys' clothes to have fun with boys.
I'm going to keep my promise, Paul. I ain't going to wear nothing but dresses for 3 whole days.
And I'm going to keep my promise, too. If you don't have just as much fun as you did climbing trees and wrestling, you can go back to wearing your pants and shirt.
Goodbye, Paul.
What you doing? Killing ants?
Hey, this place ain't got no ants.
I'll tell you something else it ain't got. That's me. I'm gonna pack up and go home.
Now, wait a minute. Hold on there. This is home.
Not to me it ain't. And for my part, they can give Beverly Hills back to the Indians. Or whoever else was fool enough to come here in the first place.
Come on, let's go in here and sit down and we'll talk this whole thing over. You just got your back up because the police made us get rid of all our cows and pigs and chickens and stuff.
Well, that didn't help none. But if they don't allow folks to have stock, why have they got that all-fired fancy stock pen down there?
Well, Granny, it turned out that there was something called a tennis court.
What in tarnation is a tennis?
I don't know, but one of these days we'll get us a pair of them and go to raise them out there.
Well, you go to raising them. I'm going back home, where I can get some good things in life, like hog jowls and possum shank.
Now, hold on, Granny. Jethro's out hunting possums right now.
He won't find none. I've been all over these Beverly Hills, and I tell you it ain't easy. Climbing fences and walls and jumping over hedges to get around those cement ponds where there are a lot of half-naked women laying there smearing themselves with oil and yelling at you to get out, get out. I tell you, Jed, this place is full of the laziest, greasiest, unfriendliest mess of people I ever did lay my eyes on.
Here's Jethro. Hi, boy. What'd you get? I got chased by a fellow with a club.
Now, you hear that, Jed? It says Beverly Hillbillies picking on a little boy like Jethro. Come on, Jethro, load up the truck and let's head for home.
Hold on. I think I know what's ailing you two. You're just plain old homesick.
Well, I'm sick of this home, I can tell you that.
Yeah, now, I got a surprise. I've been kind of saving. I reckon now's good times any to let the cat out of the bag.
We need pigs and chickens, and he gets us a cat.
Now, that ain't the surprise, Granny. The surprise is Pearl's coming out here.
Ma's coming out here?
Yeah, and she's bringing your sister Jethrine.
Hot diggity dog.
Yeah, I wrote her a letter. I said, Pearl, I says, why don't you come out here and bring Jethrine? We got lots of room and plenty to eat, and we sure is a hanker to see you.
Oh, boy. I gotta get us some possum now, because if there's one thing Ma and Jethrine likes, it's grits and possum shanks.
You don't look particular cheered up, Granny.
Jed, you might fool that boy with a story like that, but not me.
What do you mean?
Since when can you write letters?
Granny, now wait a minute. Wait a minute. Granny, I didn't write that letter by hand.
Held the pencil twist your toes, did you?
No, I wrote it by a new way. The banker's secretary showed me. It's called dictation.
What's dictation?
Oh, it's wonderful, Granny. You just talk and she writes it down.
She sure must write fast.
Yeah, with a bad hand, too.
She got a bad hand?
This one, she calls it her shorthand.
I don't care how many letters you dictate, Jed. Pearl ain't a-coming out here. Leastwise, not right now.
Well, sure she is, Granny. She's looking to find a husband for Jethrine.
I'll tell you who Pearl is looking to get a husband for. Pearl. And I think she's got her cap set for that oil man that bought your swamp.
Mr. Brewster? Why, he lives clean over to Tulsa.
Yeah, but pumping oil brings him over to your place. And I'll bet you pigs to polecats that when he shows up, Pearl ain't far behind.
There he is. Hold on, Jeffrey.
small world, ain't it?
Yes, it certainly is.
Oh, this here's my daughter, Jethrine. This is Mr. Brewster, dear.
I'm pleased to meet you, young lady.
Hi.
May I give you a hand, Mrs. Bodine?
Oh, thank you. Stay in the buggy, dear.
Careful now. There we are. Well, I see you girls are on your way to a Halloween party.
What kind of party?
Halloween.
What's a Halloween?
You don't celebrate Halloween here in the hills?
Well, I never heard of it. What's it like?
Well, it's an occasion where everyone gets dressed up in their most beautiful clothes.
Oh, these old things, they're just something I threw together myself.
Well, they look like they came from Saks.
Well, they didn't. I made them with store-bought yard goods. Didn't I, Jethrine? Yes, sir.
What brings you girls here on this beautiful Indian summer day?
Following you. we was headed this way anyway. I promised to keep an eye on the old home place for Cousin Jed, remember?
Mm. Oh, I hope he won't mind that I had a telephone put in the cabin. You see, we're using it as a sort of a field office.
Oh, he won't mind. Especially if you would show it to me and I could see for myself that there was no damage done to the cabin.
Well, that's quite all right. Come along, huh?
Stay in the buggy, dear.
Well, perhaps you'd like to stretch your legs.
They're long enough now. Jethrine's awful tall for age. She takes after her father. Her late father, that is. I'm a widow.
Yes, I believe you told me.
Oh, that's right. That's when you told me you was a widower.
Yes.
You, still are, I suppose.
A widower? No, yes.
Stay in the buggy, dear.
I'm going back where I should have stayed in the first place.
Granny, before you do something you're liable to be sorry for, you better take another look around. See all the nice things we got here that you wouldn't have back home.
Like what?
Like this great big cooking room, for one thing. Why, you could take our whole cabin and put it right in this one room.
Well, if we did that, I might stay.
What about them big ice boxes? Ain't got nothing like them back home?
Didn't need 'em. Got nippy in the fall like the good Lord intended it to. This crazy California stays warm all year round.
Well, that's awful good for growing things. Look at that fruit there. Did you ever in your whole born days ever see anything as pretty as that fruit? Don't spoil neither.
Don't taste neither.
Oh, now.
Jethro ate a whole bunch of them grapes. 2 apples, a pear, and a whole handful of strawberries. And he said there wasn't one bit of juice in the whole kit and caboodle of them. He said it was dry as wax.
Here's a mighty dry and gummy. Maybe you ain't supposed to eat this fruit.
That's the trouble with this miserable place. You ain't supposed to do nothing. You ain't supposed to have cows or pigs or chickens. You ain't supposed to fire up the still and make a little moonshine whiskey. Answer me, what can you do in this Beverly Hills?
Well, you can do lots of things, Granny. Things you couldn't do back home.
Name one.
Well, you can call up your friends on the telephone.
No, you can't.
Why not?
'Cause we ain't got no friends, that's why not. There ain't been one neighbor come a-calling on us since we moved in here.
Oh, so that's what's ailing you. Nobody's been coming to call. Well, now you got to remember what Pearl said. This here is Beverly Hills where the movie stars live.
What's that got to do with it? What's that got to do with being friendly?
Nothing. I just thought it might sidetrack you.
Well, it didn't. Movie stars are people just like us, ain't they?
Yeah, certainly it's prettier. Wouldn't it be worth waiting for if one of these days there come a knock on the door and we go to answer it, and we open up the door and standing there would be Mary Pickford.
Mary Pickford?
Yeah, with the golden curls hanging down her back and her pretty little rosebud mouth saying friendly things like, howdy there, I'm Mary Pickford. Oh, you'd say to that?
I'd say, who's Mary Pickford? That's right.
Granny, she's America's sweetheart. You know that movie house where Pearl plays piano on Saturday nights?
I heard of it.
Well, she says little old Mary is everybody's favorite.
Well, tell me this. If Mary Pickford moved in that little cabin down the creek from us back home, what would we do?
Oh, we'd have gone calling and brought her over a mess of pone and skinned possum.
Yeah. And has Mary Pickford brought us a mess of pone and skinned possum? No, she ain't.
You gotta remember, Granny, she probably spends 4 or 5 hours a day just fooling with them, combing that beautiful curls hang clear down
Uncle Jed!
Well, hello, Jethro. What'd you get this time?
I got arrested. Yeah. Policeman, he took my gun away. He said they don't allow hunting in Beverly Hills.
That does it. That does it.
Then he pointed to old Duke here. He said, that dog had his rabies shot? And I said, no, sir, that dog ain't had nothing shot. I'm careful with a gun.
What'd he say?
He said, oh, a wise guy, huh? So he put Duke and me in his police car. But we jumped out and run. Oh, is Ma and Jeff here yet?
No, and they ain't a-coming. Now, if you want to see your ma and your sis, you pack up that truck, and you and me will skedaddle back home where folks is friendly.
Now, Granny. Doggone if she ain't the muleyest little woman. Granny, now just a minute. Now, Granny, will you just let me say one thing?
Well, you be quick, because I got a long trip ahead of me.
Granny, I know it ain't been easy for you out here. New things is always vexing, especially at your age, but I'm bound and determined to keep this family together. And if you go back to the hills, we's all going with you. Now, I'm asking you please to stay. Not for my sake, but for Ellie Mae. Granny, what this place has done for her is a plain miracle. Why, that wild Injun has become a grand lady. I wish you could have seen her go out that door looking like a queen in a picture book. I tell you, I just wanted to sit down and bawl, the way you done when I married her ma. Now, she's just... She's out there now. Not just wait, Granny. Wait till you see. In here, Ellie Mae.
Huh? You sure was right. Oh, Huggy, you don't have to wear boys' clothes to have fun with boys.
Mae, you promised me you wouldn't wrestle.
I ain't been wrestling.
Then what have you been doing in your ball gown?
Doing what I'm supposed to do, playing ball. Oh, I made 2 touchdowns and kicked 3 field goals.
Well, your cousin certainly seems anxious for you to come to Beverly Hills, Mrs. Bodine. Will you? Mrs. Bodine?
Yeah.
Will you?
Yeah. Will I what?
Go to Beverly Hills to visit your cousin, Mr. Crampett.
Oh, well, not right now. I'm awful busy. You see, I do fancy sewing and hat making and give beauty courses and personality building and music lessons. Then on Saturday, I play the piano over the movie show to Oxford. And then, of course, there are my young ones, Jethro and Jethreen. Of course, they're no trouble. Jethro's in California, and Jethreen, she's fixing to get married.
Well, congratulations. When's the wedding?
Soon as she finds a fella.
Well, you certainly are a busy woman, Mrs. Bodine.
Yeah. As Cousin Jed used to say, Pearlie J, the fella that gets you sure don't have to worry about supporting you.
This is the phone I was telling you about. It's called a field telephone. Now, with this, I can communicate directly with the men working at the drilling site.
Any young men down there?
Oh, yes.
Any unmarried young men?
I'm sure there are.
Any tall unmarried young men?
Well, they're probably all sizes.
Yeah. Suppose it gets pretty lonesome working down there.
Well, it's very likely. This is rather an isolated area.
Any specially tall, specially lonesome, unmarried young ones?
I don't think I can call any by name, no.
Uh-huh. wondering.
Excuse me, ma'am. Could you tell me where the oil drillers are working today? Well, now. What have we here? Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm, and pretty, too. You know what, honey? I got something here just for you. A genuine French garter imported all the way from Paris, France. They usually sell for 50 cents, but, honey, you can have it for a quarter. Listen, honey, I'm going to be around a couple of days. You busy Saturday night? Well, you are now. And there's a dance over in Hooterville. Ooh-wee! I bet you're an armful of mama. I mean it, honey. I like big girls. You just do things to me. You carry me away.
All right.
Hey, what's going on here?
Oh, there you are. What are you doing?
I'm figuring. And I figure best when I'm fishing.
Ain't no fish in there.
I ain't fishing for fish. I'm fishing for figuring.
Yeah, what kind of figuring you fishing for?
I'm fishing to figure how I can get home.
Now, Granny, I've been doing some figuring, too. You know, I think I got it figured out how come the neighbors ain't come to visit us.
I'm listening.
Well, I got it figured. Out here in Beverly Hills, instead of them coming to see us, we go to see them.
How come?
Oh, I don't know how come. That's just the way I got it figured.
Mighty convenient figuring.
Granny, it wouldn't do no harm and to give it a try. A lot of things is different out here.
Well, I'll fish on it for a spell. Take possum.
Feed like a whale.
Who said there ain't fish in here?
Well, that's the prettiest I ever seen.
Ah, I gotcha, you rascal. I'm gonna throw you right in the frying pan. This thing ain't nothing but skin. That's your Beverly Hills for you. All flashy and show on the outside and nothing on the inside where it counts.
Fishing, people, is two different things. We're going to calling on our neighbors, and then we'll do our judging. Well, let's see now. Which neighbor shall we call on first? Mr. Drysdale's off in Boston with his missus, so let's go this way.
If you ask me, let's go back that way.
Now, Granny, you promise. Come on, everybody, let's go.
You reckon they'll give us a mess of pond or something, Pa?
Or maybe some salted down possum.
Probably so lie on us.
I'm not expecting anyone, Agnes.
Oh, it's probably just some children playing trick-or-treat, ma'am.
Howdy, ma'am. We's the Clampets.
You got something for us?
Jethro.
Aren't you rather big for this?
Yes, ma'am, we are. In fact, I don't see how anybody gets through that little door.
Just a minute. Come in. Come in and set a spell, as you folks say up in the hills.
Well, thank you. We got a lot of calls to make. But, this here is Granny.
Howdy.
Hello?
And my daughter, Ellie.
Oh.
My nephew, Jethro.
Jethro.
And I'm Jed.
Hello, Jed. I'm Agnes. Just call me Aggie.
Mighty nice place you got here, Aggie.
Oh, shucks, 'tain't nothing but a heap of bricks, but we call it home.
Well, sure is nice to meet up with you.
Oh, well, now, wait just a minute. I got something for you. Wait a second. Here you go, Granny, and Ellie, that's for you, and Jethro, that's for you and Jed. There.
Yeah, thank you. That's mighty neighborly of you. You must come and see us sometime.
Yeah, we'll go hunting together.
Hey, Aggie, you like to play football?
Love it.
Well, there's a whole bunch of fellas that plays in the pasture down the way a piece. And they'd like it just fine if I could bring some more girls along.
I don't...
Not yet, children. Not till it gets dark.
Ain't that the most pitiful thing?
Heart-rending. Just heart-rending.
Nice-looking woman. Friendly as you please. But them young'uns is the homeliest I ever see.
Wonder she didn't want to come a-calling on us.
Yeah. Reckon I'd stay home, too, if my kids looked like that.
Kid, I ain't never gonna say a bad word about nobody.
I know what you mean.
Diggies, every house we went to, they was nice to us, wasn't they?
Sure was, Jed.
Hey, listen, everybody. I got an idea. Let's call up Cousin Pearl and tell her to come on out here.
Uncle Jed, you can't call Ma on the telephone.
Mr. Drysdale said we could call anybody we had a mind to.
Well, Ma, she ain't got no telephone at home.
Don't matter. She ain't never home nohow.
The way I look at it, you can't never tell what you can do until you try.
Don't forget to spin the wheel.
Howdy, ma'am. I want to talk to Pearl Bodine back in Oxford.
That's right, operator. J.D. Clampett in Beverly Hills.
Oh, Jed's sure gonna be surprised to hear me talking at him on this thing.
Oh, they're ready to make the connection.
Hello? Jed! That you, Jed?
You betcha it is.
Hello, Pearl, you old rascal. What you doing down there?
Pa's all right, Pearl. This here's Ellie.
Jethro talk in a minute, but first I want to say something. You gotta come out here to Beverly Hills and bring Jethro. If she can't get a husband out here, there ain't no hope. You ain't never seen so many homely young'uns in all your born days. Bake a cherry pie, Billy boy, Billy boy. Can she bake a cherry pie? Charming Billy. She can bake a cherry pie, quick as a cat can wink her eye. She's a young thing and cannot leave her mother. Well, Granny, did you pick out your spot yet for the garden?
Yep. I kind of favor a patch right close here to the house.
Yeah, I'll plow you up something there directly.
Yeah, just enough for some onions and taters and some rudibakers. And a few rows of corn.
Pa? Morning, Granny. Pa, can I help you with the plowing and the spading?
Well, Ellie, I'd rather you put on one of them pretty dresses that Miss Hathaway got you.
But, Pa, I can plow better in these clothes.
Plowing. You know, Ellie, I'd like you to wear one of them dresses kind of regular. Wouldn't you, Granny?
You're mighty fetching in a dress, Ellie.
Prettier than a tub of fresh churned butter.
Pa, if I go to wearing them dresses, Jethro will make fun of me.
I reckon he hadn't better. Now, you run along and put on something with skirts.
All right, but he hadn't better make fun.
He won't, he won't. You know, speaking of Jethro, I think he's got himself a sweetheart.
The banker's secretary?
That's right. They was out together last night.
What'd they do?
Well, I don't rightly know for sure, but it was something to do with bowls.
All you do with bowls is eat.
Well, I reckon that's what it was then. She said she was going to take him bowling.
You know, Jed, I kind of like that Miss Hathaway.
Yeah, I think she kind of likes us, too.
Oh, those marvelous Clampetts. Those simple, rugged mountain people. The more I see of them, the more I am impressed.
Yes, now
Never have I observed such strength of body, mind, and character.
Yes, now
They stand like boulders in the pebble-strewn landscape of Beverly Hills. Like mighty oaks among bushes.
Like quiet. Now, like I admire them, too. But those boulders need polishing, and we've got to put some city leaves on those oaks before my wife gets back from Boston.
Incidentally, in any endeavor requiring physical strength, they are most exceptional. I took Jethro bowling last night. Here's the bill.
$3,000. How many games did you bowl?
Well, you see, what happened was this. I said to Jethro,
Pick up that bowling ball, she says, and see can you knock over them pins down yonder. They's just sticks. Anyway, I snatches up that rascal, draws back, and lets her fly.
Did you knock down them pins?
Yeah, the pins, the pin boy, the end of the building, a brick wall, and a signboard down on Sunset Boulevard.
I bet you Miss Jane didn't do that good.
She didn't even try. She just looks at me and says, Jethro, you're strong as an ox and twice as handsome.
Ain't no two ways about it, Granny. That city girl is sweet on this boy.
I reckon so, the way she's bragging on his looks. You are handsomer than an ox.
Thank you, Granny. Cousin Ellie, you're a city girl now. Do you think...
You see that, Paul? I told you this would happen if I took to wearing these dresses. You call me that again, and I'll turn you every way but loose.
Say nothing but city gal.
Ellie, me, climb it. Get up from there, or you're going across my knee.
And Jethro, you're going across mine.
What did I do that was so all-fired bad? In that dress, she looks just like a city gal.
You did it!
I reckon we better go out there and see she don't hurt him. So now that we living in the city, you got to learn to use the steps.
I'll be happy to know that I'm making splendid progress with Ellie Mae. She's turning into quite a lady.
Fine. There's Jed, Granny, and Jethro we've got to work on. Clothes, manners, the works. What have you done about servants?
That's the problem, Chief. They're basically opposed to the whole idea of able-bodied people letting others do their work for them.
Well, that's a refreshing attitude. But we've got to get a skeleton staff in there somehow. A combination butler and valet with Jed and Jethro. Who help them assemble a wardrobe, teach them how to... Ravenswood.
Your butler?
Oh, he's never been my butler. Came with my wife like an overweight dowry. Been in her family for years. And with Margaret in Boston, I can certainly spare him, plus her upstairs girl, Marie.
I doubt if you can sell Mr. Clapper on the idea of servants.
Get him on the phone. I'll make him think he's doing me a favor by taking him off my hands for a while.
Right, Chief?
She hadn't ought to thrown me down on my head like that. What if I'd have been carrying a frog in my hat?
You ain't supposed to be wearing your hat in the house.
Well, Granny, where's a fella going to carry a frog? They jump out of your pocket.
Hello? Oh, howdy there, Mr. Drysdale. Glad to have you back from Boston. Your missus come with you? Oh, that's too bad. I know her and Granny'd hit it off like two sows in a mud waller.
Yes, I'm sure they would. No recipes? No, my wife doesn't do much cooking. No, I doubt if she ever made grits and hog jows.
Well, how about mustard greens and possum belly? No? Oh, then. Pone and squirrel shank? Boiled chicken home. Well, say, she don't do much cooking, does she?
No. Well, the reason I called, Mr. Clampett, is I have a butler. Well, he really belongs to my wife's family, but he's been with us ever since we were married. And I was wondering if you'd let him come and stay with you for a while.
You mean board with us?
Well, I guess you could call it that.
Who's going to board with us?
Just a minute. Some kin of Miss Drysdale named Butler. Oh, why, we'd be just...
That's that no good fat rascal that wouldn't let Ellie and me in to help Miss Drysdale when she was sobering up.
Hello? Granny was talking at me, but she's done now.
Oh, no, she ain't.
Just a minute. Granny, let me hear the man out, and then we can talk it over. Yes, sir, Mr. Drysdale. I'm a-listening now.
Well, in addition to Ravenswood, he's the butler, you can also have my wife's upstairs girl, Marie. Margaret may be away for some time, and I have absolutely no use for him.
Well, I sure would like to oblige. Me and Granny will talk it over, and I'll call you.
Oh, thank you. You'll be doing me a great favor.
I was glad to help out when I can.
Thank you again, Mr. Clampett, and goodbye.
Is somebody coming to live with us, Uncle Jed?
Maybe, Jethro, maybe. Why don't you go out and make up with your cousin Ellie?
Okay, Uncle Jed.
All right, Jed, let's have it. We gonna board that butler fella?
Well, Mr. Drysdale would take it mighty kindly if we did. He says he ain't got no use for him.
I don't like him myself.
Granny, you only met him once?
Once was enough. I asked him real nice. I says, are you doing for Miss Drysdale that she's feeling poorly? Are you doing the washing and the scrubbing and the cleaning for her? And he looks right down his nose at me and says, Madam, I am a butler.
I reckon he is proud of his name. Kind of fancy. Ravenswood Butler.
I don't care if it's Stonewall Jackson. And I think Mr. Drysdale has a lot of gall to ask us to take his wife's kinfolks off his hands.
Well, now, I'm mighty beholden to him. You know he's keeping my $25 million in his bank, and he ain't charging me one penny to do it.
That's his business. You didn't ask him to do it.
Well, now, Granny, if it was just Mr. Butler, I might agree with you, but there's a sad side to the story, too.
What's that?
Well, you've heard of Mr. Drysdale speak of his stepson? That's his wife's boy by her first marriage?
The one they called Sonny?
Yeah. Well, it seems she's got a girl, too. And there must be something wrong with her.
What?
Well, I don't know, but they keep her upstairs.
No.
Yeah. He spoke of her as my wife's upstairs girl.
The poor thing.
Her name's Marie, and he'd like us to take her and Mr. Butler.
Doggone it, Jed. We got enough to do to take care of this big place without... He didn't say what was ailing her, huh?
Well, no, but if you ask me, they ain't eating right over there.
No.
You know what Mr. Drysdale told me?
What?
His wife ain't never cooked grits and hog jowl.
Ah, go on.
That's a fact. Nor mustard greens and possum belly. Nor pone and squirrel shank. Nor even boiled chicken hawk.
Land of mercy.
You can't hardly blame Mr. Butler for getting a mite cranky. Man don't eat right, he gets that way.
Well, yeah. I reckon it won't do no harm to take him in for a spell.
Granny, for such a little woman, you got an awful big heart.
Well, I feel sorry for the poor girl. But the first time that fancy pants Mr. Butler looks down his nose at me, I'm gonna chuck him in the cement pond.
I'm doubling your salaries for the length of time you stay at the Clampett home. But if one word of this gets back to my wife in Boston, you're both out of work with no references.
Actually, you will find the Clampetts to be basically fine people. All they need is a little polish.
Polish? They need sandblasting. However, I think Miss Hathaway's plan may overcome their initial resentment of wearing city clothes.
Yes, I think I have devised rather a clever strategy. To put it briefly and succinctly, my strategy is as follows. I shall propose to the Clampetts that they sit for a family portrait. As you know, my hobby is painting. Now, I shall suggest to the Clampetts that their attire match their background, which is, of course, their beautiful mansion. They will no doubt see the logic of my didactic approach, accede to my wishes, don suitable raiment, and, once they have seen themselves thus attired, take...
We're in. Let's go.
We forgot to dust the stair rail.
I'll do it, Granny.
Besides, wearing boys' clothes does come in handy sometimes.
Hi, Ginger Granny. I think we got her all spick and span for the company.
There ain't a speck of dirt, no place. Can I go swimming now?
Me too?
As soon as we help Granny clean up the kitchen. Was that music again?
Sure is good. You ever find out where that comes from?
Know 'em, Granny. Every single time I commence to looking for it, somebody comes to the door.
Nobody to the door now?
There will be. You'll see. Doggies, that's nice.
Don't pitch in, see, can we find it?
You're wasting your time. I'm a-telling you. Before you can find it, somebody will come to the door. There, you see? Happens every time.
I remember, Ravenswood. I'm counting on you. Don't fail me.
You have my word, sir. I've been butler and valet since boyhood, as was my father before me and his father before him. And I've yet to meet the man or woman who posed a social problem too difficult for me to handle.
That's the spirit.
Howdy there. Remember me, Mr. Butler? No! Ravenswood, come back! You gave your word! Come back, you coward! Come back here! I'll cut off your friend's benefits!
Ravenswood probably forgot something. He'll return shortly. Meanwhile, this is Marie, Mrs. Drysdale's upstairs girl. Marie, J.D. Clappett.
Howdy.
Jethro Bodine. Ellie Mae Clappett. And Grandma Clappett.
No, ma'am. I am a Moses.
Pardon?
Granny's related on the wife's side. They's the Moses family from Tennessee.
Then your name is Granny Moses? Grandma Moses.
That's right.
There was a very famous Grandma Moses who painted primitives.
I've whitewashed a few myself.
I'll show Marie to her room.
Listen, Marie, honey. Over here, you've got the run of the house. You don't have to hide upstairs. Ain't nothing wrong with that girl, but want some good cooking will cure her. She's half starved.
Poor thing is so weak her knees keeps a buckling on her.
She's kind of pretty, though, for a skinny girl.
Just wait till she gets some mess of Granny's grits and hog gel. That'll fill her out.
Well, I'll get some of cooking. Guess that butler fellow will be coming back directly.
Oh, and Granny, we have some of that salted down possum belly that Ma sent us?
Well, I reckon it is kind of a company meal.
Granny, open up a jar of them pickled crow gizzards.
Now, Jed, we don't want to spoil these folks. They might get to thinking we eat like that every day.
Baby, will you do something nice for me?
I sure, Pa.
Will you go get into that pretty dress again?
Oh, Pa, Jethro will make fun of me.
No, I won't, Ellie Mae. Cross my heart.
Why,
That's my darling. Thank you. And then you be real nice to Marie. She's had a bad life.
I'll be nice to her. She's pretty.
Let's all be nice.
Pa, I wanted to go swimming. Now I gotta go put on an old dress.
Cousin Ellie, you look awful pretty in a dress. Honest you do.
Do I look pretty in that there city girl?
You look prettier than that there city girl.
That did it. Come on and fight.
There's nothing to be afraid of, Ravenswood. The fact that they're big and strong doesn't mean they're violent. Elephants can be gentle. Now, Ravenswood, your appearances deceive you.
Oh, really?
Oh, I do admit on the surface they do seem a bit rough, even cruel. But I assure you underneath they are placid, kindly, and gentle. See?
You shouldn't have called me a city girl.
Ellen Mae, leave me alone, please, Ellen Mae.
City girl.
Mr. Butler, don't never say anything nice to that girl. She'll kill you.
Come back here. Coward! Come back! You promised! I wonder, Granny, when Mr. Drysdale said he didn't have no use for Mr. Butler, he sure wasn't fooling. I just seen him cut through the brush chasing him with a stick.
Mr. Butler gets sassy with me, I'll chase him with more than a stick.
Jen, Ellie throwed me down on my head again. If she don't stop that, I'm going to get a headache.
Stop riling her, Jethro.
Golly, all I said was she's pretty. That ain't no call to bust a fella's head.
How's the door?
Oh, howdy, Marie.
Hi, Marie.
Are you hungry, darling?
No, madam.
I'm whooping up something here that'll just set your mouth to watering.
Put some strength in your limbs, too.
Tell her what it is, Granny.
A great big mess of grits and hog jowls.
And salted down possum belly.
Cold pickled crow gizzards. How you like that?
Don't tell me that child ain't hungry. Why, she's ready to drop in her tracks. Set her at the table and I'll dish up a mess.
No, please. I only came in to bring you a message from Miss Hathaway. She's preparing to paint a family portrait, and she wishes to know if you all will sit for her. May I tell her that you will sit for her?
Well, yeah, I reckon we'll do that.
Merci.
Well, let's get at it.
To talk while we're sitting?
Yeah, I reckon.
I found out something about Marie.
What?
She's scared of Mr. Butler.
How'd you know?
I asked her to go swimming with me, and she says he wouldn't allow it.
What business is it of his?
That's what I said. And she says he's a butler, and I'm just an upstairs girl. I got to do whatever he says.
We'll see about this. Oh, dingies. Let's hit Mr. Drysdale, find him, and give him a whooping. Oh, kitchen Granny.
Oh, Ellie, you go put a dress on like you promised.
Uncle Jed, I'm going swimming. If I see him, I'll fetch him in.
Don't go jumping in with your clothes on again.
Well, I won't, Uncle Jed. Miss Hathaway, she gave me a present last night. She says it's something special for her to go swimming in.
What'd she give you?
Oh, pair of trunks.
You go swimming in a cement pond. Boy, it's too big to go swimming in a trunk. In a pair of them.
I got a feeling that Mr. Butler feller is going to be trouble.
Yeah, we can handle him.
Well, I still say that I think Mr. Drysdale has a lot of nerve to ask us to board his wife's relations.
Maybe he's just fed up. Man can get awful tired of having his wife's kin underfoot all the time. He told me that Butler fella had been living with them ever since they was married. I declare some in-laws latch on to free room and board like leeches. It takes a mule kick to jar 'em loose. You can't hardly blame Mr. Drysdale for trying to get shed of a critter like that.
Is that the way you feel?
You bet it is.
I'll see how fast I can get packed. I'll get out from underfoot just as quick as I can. No, Jed. I know when I'm not wanted. It don't take no mule kick to get shed of me.
Darnation, Granny, well, I wasn't talking about you. We couldn't get along without you.
No, Jed. I'm just a burdensome old woman, no good to nobody. Why don't you throw me down the well? Go ahead, pick me up, carry me out to the well, and throw me in.
Stop talking like that.
Uncle Dan! Uncle Dan! I caught him. Mr. Drysdale, he gave up, but I caught this fat little rascal. What do you think? You going to whip him, Granny?
No, Jethro. I'm going to get thrown down the well. Why don't you throw us both down the well together? We're just no good leeches, both.
Mr. Butler, I'm sorry Jethro got mighty rough with you. He don't mean no harm. He's just an overgrown boy. Now, we's almighty pleasure to have you come and stay with us, and as long as you behave yourself, won't be no trouble. Oh, I'm Jed Clampett.
Sir.
This here's Granny. I reckon you and Jethro done met.
Yeah. Sir.
Oh, and this here is my daughter, Ellie Mae.
Enchantée, mademoiselle. Vous êtes très belle, très charmante, très ravissante.
Don't you dare use them kind of words to a lady.
What do you say, Granny?
I ain't sure, but it sounded dirty.
If your daughter was pretty and charming, or you're so different from all the others, you're like a beautiful city girl.
He had not have said that.
Oh, Mary. We Miss Jane. Didn't you say the Clampetts had agreed to sit for their portrait? They said they would do it.
What is it? I believe it to be self-preservation, madam. No!
Don't take to the stairs. She'll catch you sure.
Sounds like Ellie got him.
Afraid so.
Somebody please tell me what is transpiring.
I'm dead. Ellie throwed him all right, but I caught him before he hit the floor.
So here you are. Well, now, everything seems to be fine. You see, Ravenswood, didn't I tell you the Clampetts were kindly, gentle people?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
We're going to have to feed up both of them, Granny. His knees is buckling, too.
The Beverly Hillbillies.
Ellie says Jethro says Pearl sent us a letter.
A litter of what?
Did you hear what?
No, but I bet you it's kitten.
Kittens. Pearl's always trying to give away kittens.
Well, there y'all are.
Where's the kittens, Jethro?
What kitten?
Didn't your ma send us some kittens?
Just a minute. Nope, just a letter.
Jethro, how could you think that kittens would... Well, come on, sit down. Let's hear what Pearl's got to say.
Dear son and kinfolk, I take pen in hand to say we are all fine back here. How are you all out there?
Just fine, Pearl.
That's right.
Jethro, I hope you are making good marks in school out there. Ma thinks I'm going to school. Are you in the 5th grade like you would be here?
Doggy, Jethro, I clean forgot about putting you in school. We're going to have to get you started today.
Can I go too?
Well, now, I think Miss Hathaway's got plans to put you in some girls' school.
Can I go too?
Jethro, I just said it was a girls' school.
That's why I want to go. I like girls.
I don't.
As for the letter, after that, we'll take care of school.
Your sister, Jethrine, had a narrow escape. A city dude tried to take advantage of her.
What does that mean, Paul?
Well, that's, well, Granny will explain that to you later. Tell us more about the city dude, Jethro.
His name is Jasper He.
Jasper He?
That's a funny name.
Oh, there's a dot in there. His name is Jasper. He wears patent leather shoes and spats on them.
Don't sound too neat, does he?
He seen your sister at the cabin when I went there to keep an eye on it for Cousin Jed.
I know what Pearl went there to keep an eye on. Mr. Brewster.
Well, now, Granny, Pearl's a widow woman. She got a right to look.
I ain't knocking it. I got my eyes open myself.
At first, I thought the city dude worked for Mr. Brewster, so I drove back out to the cabin to give him a piece of my mind.
I could put a bug in that Mr. Brewster's ear. Look out for feathers.
Feathers?
The more Pearl has her eye on a man, the more feathers she sticks in her hat.
That's right. 3 and 8 came in flowing 2,000 barrels a day. And it looks like the news strike's going to be even better. There's no doubt about it. This is one of the richest pools we've ever hit. Yep, everything from here is good news. Well, not everything. I'll call you back. Mrs. Bodine, this is a pleasant surprise.
Well, thank you. Although you might not think it's so pleasant when you hear what I have to say.
Oh?
One of them oil fellas working for you has made advances to my daughter.
Made advances?
Well, what would you call being picked up and carried off by brute force?
Well, I'd call that making advances. What's his name?
Jasper Depew.
Jasper Depew.
I ain't seen him myself, but from what Jeff Green tells me, he's a pretty slick article. Oh, Mr. Brewster, you don't know how hard it is for two girls living alone like Jeff Green and me. You see, my son Jethro's in California with Cousin Jed, leaving us no man to protect us. I'm a widow woman, you know. But I guess wherever you have two unattached girls living alone, there's bound to be trouble. Especially when the girls are the kind that men call lookers.
Did you say his name is Depew?
Jasper Depew. Calls himself Jazzbo. Oh, Jeff Green says he's a flashy dresser and a fancy talker and drives a sporty car. Regular big city dude. I guess Jeff Green's kind of like me when it comes to tall, handsome city fellas. I'm just putty in their hands.
Nope, no one by that name working for OK Oil.
You mind if I look?
Oh, well, no, go right ahead.
I'm bound and determined to find the rascal that trifled with the affections of my sweet, innocent, helpless baby girl.
Ma!
Jeff Green, I thought I told you to stay in the buggy.
I seen Jasper Depew coming.
Here?
Yes'm.
Oh, well, thank goodness we got Mr. Brewster to protect us. Oh, there he is.
Mr. Brewster throwed his arms around me and held me in his strong embrace.
What's an embrace, Paul?
Well, that's when folks kind of twine their arms around one another.
You mean like wrestling?
It's sort of like wrestling, except they ain't mad.
It's like wrestling for fun.
I reckon you could see that.
Then we heard a knock on the door, and we knowed it was Jasper He.
Better look for that dot again.
Oh, yeah. We knowed it was Jasper. He was there to get Jethrine. Her beauty had set his heart to burning with flaming desire.
What's flaming desire, Paul?
Well, Granny will explain that to you later.
Well, I'll try. But you're sure counting a heap on my memory.
Read on with your Mo's letter there, Jethro.
Yeah, it's getting good. One city fella's got his arms around Aunt Pearl, and another's waiting at the door to grab Cousin Jethrine.
My only thought was to save my daughter, so I tore loose from Mr. Brewster's embrace. I saw Jethrine heading for the door, so I quick throwed myself betwixt my child and danger. Sweet innocent Jethrine, not knowing better, let that rascal in. He went right to sweet-talking in a voice smoother than fresh churned butter.
Hello again, you great, big, beautiful lump of sugar. I brought you something all the way from Eureka Springs. Genuine orchids growed in a hothouse. And this lovely young girl must be your sister.
I'm her mom.
No.
Yeah.
Well, for Jethrine's beautiful mother, a little gift of genuine French imported perfume all the way from Paris, France.
Oh, well, you hadn't ordered. Oh, my goodness. Genuine Paris, France perfume.
Look at that French writing on there. That says, "Ah, d'amour." That means, oh, love.
Ain't he a sport, Ma?
And for Jethrine's handsome father, a genuine cigarette case. Silver.
Thank you, but I am not Jethrine's father.
No, Mr. Brewster ain't my husband. He's just a friend.
Well, any friend of Jethrine's beautiful mother is a friend of mine. It's from old Mexico and hammered out of solid silver by the Aztecs Indians hundreds of years ago.
That brings up an interesting question. Why would the Aztecs make cigarette cases when they had no cigarettes?
That is an interesting question. I'll have to ask some of my Aztecs friends about that. Hey, Doll. Remember Ain't She Sweet? Well, I've read the... Hey, what happened to your orchids?
Nothing. I ate them already.
You mean you ate all them expensive orchids?
Mo, you should have spoke for one. It wasn't very filling.
Ain't she sweet? From her head down to her feet. And that's a long way. But I ask you very confidentially, ain't that baby sweet? Ain't she large? But she gives me such a charge. I ask you very confidentially, ain't that baby large? She stretches out in all directions. I'm in a shout. Lordy, that's perfection. Are you with me? Ain't she keen? Well, that's the most I've ever seen. And I'm here to tell you I'm her ding-dong daddy, and she's my queen. And she is king size, my Jethrine. Lots of mama, my Jethrine. She carries me away.
Jethrine, put him down!
So your sister Jethrine has got herself a steady fella now. He says he is going to ask for her hand someday. I hope he will take the rest of her, too. Ha ha. Give my love to all and be a good boy. I am going out now to mail this letter and get some more feathers for my hat. As ever, your loving mother. Gee, sure nice to hear from Ma.
They're nice hearing.
Jethro, you and me's got to go right out and find a school and get you to going. Granny, you pack up a nice lunch for Jethro to tote along.
How about a big mess of poke greens and chitlins with some pole and a big pot of sorghum to dip it in?
Fine.
Oh, Granny, it don't have to be that fancy. Some of the other boys here in Beverly Hills might not have it so good. They go to complaining to their folks.
Let them complain. It ain't gonna hurt none to raise their standard a little.
I'll get the truck up to Jed.
Paul, please let me go with Jethro. I can help him fight if the big kids in the 5th grade goes to picking on him.
I know for sure that Miss Hathaway's got other plans for your schooling.
But with Jethro gone, I won't have nobody to play with.
Oh, yes, you will. I just remembered something. Mr. Drysdale's stepson is coming home for Thanksgiving. And he's going to be living right next door. And you can play with him. Mr. Drysdale gave me some pictures of him. Here's some pictures of Sonny. That's what they call him, Sonny. He's been going to a lot of schools, and you ought to know some real good games to play. Ain't he something?
Yeah, but what?
Well, he's a boy.
Sure?
Ellie, just because he's wearing... Well, there's Jethro. Now, you keep thinking about how much fun you're going to be having with him right next door. You know, he does kind of favor that movie actor, Rudolph Valentino.
Here's Jethro's lunch. I didn't have time to fix much, but it'll hold him till he gets home from school. I got a big surprise in there. I've been saving it for a special day, and I reckon this is it.
What is it, Granny?
Deviled hawk eggs.
Doggies. Makes me wish I was going to school.
School, all right. Millicent, Schuyler, and Potts. I reckon them 3 is the teachers.
3 teachers? Must be awful big school.
I'll say.
Well, let's go in there and get you started.
Here you are. May I help you?
Well, reckon maybe you can.
Diana, someone has parked a most disreputable-looking vehicle outside my window.
Perhaps it was these gentlemen.
Oh? Yes? What is it you wish?
Well, I'd like to get my nephew started into school.
Here?
Yeah, here's all right if you got room for a desk and his lunch basket.
My dear man, this is a most exclusive private school. The tuition is quite expensive. Well beyond your means, I'm sure.
Does that mean it costs a lot of money?
That is precisely what it means.
Well, I can pay you if it ain't over $25 million.
25 million?
Yes, ma'am, that's all I got.
Dollars?
Yes, ma'am.
In cash?
Yes, ma'am.
This is obviously a practical joke perpetrated by one of my envious competitors. What is your name?
Jed Clampett, ma'am, and this here...
And you expect me to believe that you have $25 million?
Well, no, not on me, ma'am, but my neighbor, Mr. Drysdale, he's keeping it in his bank for me.
Get me Milburn Drysdale at the Commerce Bank. You see, it just so happens that Mr. Drysdale holds the mortgage on this school, so we are very well acquainted.
Hello. I'd like to speak to Mr.
Now, if you wish to admit that this is a hoax and be on your way, we will forget the entire incident. Otherwise, you may be liable to some sort of action for invasion of private property and impersonating a millionaire.
Mr. Drysdale is coming on the line now.
Thank you. This is your last chance, Mr. Clampett. My next call will be to the police. Very well. Mr. Drysdale, Millicent Schuyler Potts here. Come in, come in, come in, come in.
Thank you, ma'am.
Diana, tea for these gentlemen. Croppett?
Oh, no, ma'am, Clampett.
Diana, use the Spode tea set. Well, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down.
Just the two of us. Ellie Mae and Granny didn't come.
Well, do make yourselves comfortable. Mr. Drysdale's exact words to me were, well, never mind his exact words. Apparently he values your friendship greatly, and Mr. Drysdale is a very important mortgage. And then, now then, shall we talk about your youngster who's entering our 5th grade? What is his name?
Jethro Bodine.
Bodine? Jethro?
No, ma'am. Jethro Bodine.
We always put the last name first. Now, male, of course.
Yes, ma'am. Just got a letter this morning.
Date of birth?
December the 4th.
Year?
No, ma'am. Back home. We only been here a few weeks.
Perhaps you should answer the questions for our vital statistics. Now, we need to know the complete birth date, which in turn gives us the exact age. Now, we have December 4th, and judging from the fact that your nephew is entering the 5th grade, I would surmise that the year is, 51 or 52. Am I correct?
Oh, Jethro ain't near that old.
And in the 5th grade? Why, that's wonderful. Well, perhaps we have a budding genius on our hands. Archie! How poor. Oh, Diana, I'd like you to bring me one of our boys' uniforms to show these gentlemen. A 5th grade size. No, on second thought, you'd better make it 3rd grade. He's younger than average. We require that all of our students wear identical uniforms. It makes for less friction that way. Otherwise, the boys of millionaires are apt to be taunted by the really rich.
I bet you Jethro will look right good in a uniform. He can't wait to be a soldier.
Oh, yes, many a young lad is like that. However, our uniforms do not reflect any militaristic design. No, rather, we strive for something gay, attractive, and smart. Oh, there you are. Charming, isn't it? Now, you take this home and have Jethro wear it when he comes to school in the morning.
Wear this? I'm afraid Granny will have to make considerable changes in this before it'll fit Jethro.
So tiny?
Yes, ma'am.
And in the 5th grade? Well, the boy must be a genius. Well, you may be very sure that we will bring him out.
If he wears this, he'll bust out.
Now then, how do you gentlemen like your tea?
We don't know, ma'am. We ain't tasted it yet.
Oh, you are the fun-loving one, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Here's Jethro's school clothes. You want me to help let him out? Oh, well, thank you, Ellie, but let's see what has to be done. Maybe they fit him already. That's supposed to be a hat? I reckon so. What's that? Well, Jethro said it stands for POTS. POTS? That's the school he's going to. Pot school. Hell, he'll be learning a good trade. If there's something folks always needs, it's pots. Jethro can make you some dandy new ones once he catches on to it. Who in the Sam Hill is supposed to wear that? Well, Jethro, I reckon. Jethro couldn't have wore that at 3. Paul said it'd take some letting out. Letting out? There ain't enough seams in the whole world to let that out.
How's it going, Granny? Are you getting my uniform already?
Jethro Bodine?
No, Granny. Over to school, it's Bodine Jethro.
Ellie Mae, leave the room. You got no shame running around here in your underpants?
Granny, these ain't underpants. They swimming trunks.
You wrap that towel around you before I cut a switch.
But, Granny, Miss Hathaway says...
I don't care who says what. I'll be glad when your ma gets out here to take you in hand and to make you some school clothes. These things ain't never gonna fit.
But, Granny, I gotta have these in the morning. It's a rule. All us kids over there's gotta wear these. And that coat, too.
Yeah. I sure wish your ma was here with her sewing machine. Pearl's a whiz at making clothes.
Now that you're going to be keeping company with Jazz Beau Depew, you're going to need some nice clothes.
I like the little fella, Ma.
I'm glad, Jeffrey. But you got to stop picking him up all the time.
He ain't heavy.
That ain't the point. It don't look fitting for a girl to run around carrying a fella.
All right. I won't pick him up anymore. Till we get married.
Why would you pick him up then?
To carry him over the threshold.
You ain't supposed to carry him. He's supposed to carry... No, that's ridiculous. I declare, I don't know how I'm going to keep you in clothes the way you're shooting up. I start a new outfit, and by the time I get it stitched together, you've outgrown it.
My new shoes is already too tight for my feet.
Oh, them feet. If they get any bigger, you're going to have to go outside to turn around.
My feet ain't as big as Jethro's.
Well, of course not. He's a boy. Just think, your brother Jethro's going to school in Beverly Hills, California.
Yeah. I'm homesick for to see him, Ma.
Me too, Jethro. I'll bet your rich Uncle Jed has Jethro duded up like one of them actors in movie pictures.
I can't understand these Beverly Hills schools. Wearing that uniform ain't gonna make you no smarter.
Miss Potts said I had to wear it this morning. And she's the boss teacher.
Dang, if Jethro ain't right. Every time that music plays, somebody comes to the door.
Good morning. Surprise. Surprise.
Good morning, Miss Potts.
I decided to come by and drive our diminutive genius to school myself.
What?
Your nephew, Jethro.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Jethro! Come on down here. You got to ride to school. Well, that's mighty nice of you, ma'am.
Oh, tut. I'm going to give the boy my personal special attention. I feel that when one...
Well, howdy there, Miss Potts. You come to take me to school?
You betcha she is. I want you to be a good boy, make good marks so your ma will be proud of you.
This is your nephew?
Yes, ma'am. You met him yesterday, remember? Of course, he does look a mite different in his uniform. Granny had a time getting it to fit, but she done it.
You? are in the 5th grade.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Just finished 3 years in the 4th.
But I can't. It's impossible.
Oh, that ain't nothing. He got through the 1st grade in only 2 years.
Under no circumstances can I allow this.
Well, say, here comes Mr. Drysdale. I reckon he's coming to see Jethro off to school.
Well, come along, Jethro. Tippity hop. This is the way we go to school. This is the way we go to school.
Is Jethro's lunch?
Oh, Jethro! You forgot your lunch. Now, Jethro, you share your grits and fat back with Miss Potts today.